All right. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Good. We still have people logging in. From my notes, we stopped at part 4. What's in the chat? Ruby, I'm going to hand chat over to you for paying attention. Kathy added read notes. Who's Kathy? Hey, Ruby, who's Kathy?
Kathy this is Donna. Yeah, Kathy Herdman from the Lucerne. I know she does the Lucerne Flow Garden also.
I don't even see her on here.
Yeah, it's odd because she's not showing as a participant.
Huh. Well, what the heck? Let's just leave it. See what happens. Just taking notes anyway. And I have become curious about it because I keep kicking it out of meetings just because I don't recognize it. But all right, we'll see how it goes. Thank you, everybody, for showing up for today's meeting. According to my notes, we stopped at part 4 in the second survey. That would be question number 11. So if everybody's ready, we'll just go ahead and get started with that part. Oh, but before we do get started, just some announcements. Let's see. We do have a LAPAC specific meeting. So an in-person meeting for our LAPAC for the Shoreline communities. LAPAC scheduled on November 4th. That is Monday at 6 p.m. at I don't even know what the name of that park is, but it's the county building that is at 12586 Acorn Drive. Is it Nylander Park, Donna? Is that the actual name?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
okay,
Nylander
cool.
Park.
I'm not familiar with that one. Anyway, it's 6 to 7:30 or whenever we finish at 12586 Acorn Drive. The county meeting room fronts, I think, Highway 20. And thanks, Donna, for that idea. That worked out great.
Can I just
Holly, you
check
have
on
a
that?
key, right?
Yeah, I'm the one that has the key. So so I'll have to go and just make sure that everything's okay there. So do you have any idea about how many people? Or is it mostly stand up or what?
This will be kind of a sitting around together talking meeting.
Okay, so we do have a table there and some chairs and a desk.
Okay, just one table?
One table. I can probably bring, actually Lars will send down more if I can tell him what you want.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to break into groups on this one. I'd rather have the whole LAPAC at one time. We're going to talk about community growth boundary changes, as well as the planning area boundary changes and the input that we got at the in-person LAPAC meetings. And then there's something else, but I don't remember what land use designation changes. So, okay. Yeah, so it'll kind of be like if we can do a large square so that everybody can kind of see each other in the discussion, I think that would be ideal.
Okay, so I'll get in touch with Lars and ask his guys to bring some stuff down. Just That'd for anybody awesome. Who knows, it's the front of the restrooms at Nylander Park. So, right next to the playground.
Awesome.
If you want me to bring just 2 6-foot tables, I have that also. If Lars can't do that.
Okay, I'll check with him.
Okay. Nifty. Thank you so much for handling that. I appreciate it. All right. Starting the remainder of jumping back into the second community survey. Question number 11. Let's see if I can switch this around.
Maria, just out of curiosity, did you get a copy? Did everybody get a copy of that compilation that I resent it to you at the last meeting, but you wanted to review it? Did everybody get that?
You sent it to us?
I sent it out to everybody. I sent it out to everybody yesterday morning again.
You know what? I'm very sorry. I did not look at that. I've been going through all the emails that I missed from the weekend, and I haven't quite gotten back that far. Sorry. From TNC. Let me pull that up. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me.
I don't know, thank you. It'll just kind of help guide. It'll take some questions that will kind of help guide of what few of us are already went through with it.
Good. So this is Shoreline Area Plan compiled questions 4 through 27. That one
Yes.
has some stuff in blue and red. Okay. I am happy to share screen and we can go over it together as a group. Is that amenable, or we're amenable to that? I see nodding. Thank you, Gail. Nodding helps me. Okay, good. Let me share. Go over there. And enlarge this guy. Okay, look good? Can we see that pretty well?
Looks good.
Excellent. Focused on land changes in Lucerne, we don't feel qualified to make decisions. Well, we don't have to make decisions, but I do look to LAPAC for recommendations. So I will want input on that one. However, land use map change is something that we're going to talk together about at that in-person meeting. So we're good on that. Let's skip that one. Where were we? 11. Okay, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Yes on mixed development. Okay, we like the youth ag and wilderness education. Want to prohibit big box and other large chain stores. Got it. Is there anybody in this meeting anybody here who did not attend this sort of group meeting that generated this document?
It was basically the meeting that we had. There was with Donna, Maria, Angela, and I.
Oh, okay.
But we've sent this out for 2 weeks now, just saying, so anything that was in blue, if I remember correctly, because on the front memo, it details this. Anything in blue came from the second survey, and anything in red were the issues that we felt were overlooked in the compilation, and things that we felt needed to be added in.
And just one more clarification. If you see like after like number 9 on the screen right now in parentheses, it says 47. What that is how many people responded to that particular question on the survey.
Right. Yeah. So in question 9, 47 people did respond. 24 said, no, don't limit or prohibit development. And 23 said yes. So your red in yes means that the 4 people who met for this document think that yes. Those are yes votes?
Correct.
Okay. I think we talked about that one already. 10, the attached letter from Earth. Awesome. Thank you for attaching. We're not going to look at it right now. We already did that question. So cool. 11, that's where we are starting today. Are there any communities or neighborhoods that are not well represented in the existing local area plan? And if yes, please list them. Okay. That's quite a list. Does anyone have any to add that they don't see on that list? Or is there any input, any additional or different input too? I don't want to like enforce this groupthink thing. I want discussion as much as possible. So don't let me push you to not say anything. Please say something.
I had a question about that.
Go ahead, Austin.
Yeah, specifically as it relates to Conotee, I believe sort of sections of Glenhaven. Conotee is actually within the full-on mailing zip code of Lucerne. And I'm guessing since question number 10, see attached letter from Earth, is Earth wishing to cut Lucerne from the Shoreline Area Plan. Is question 11 therefore based off of their response to number 10? Like, do they feel Conotee and Glenhaven are not well represented in the existing LAP as they imagine Lucerne should be cut from it? Or is that more a matter of if they just believe that should be the extended boundary.
Good question. Holly, Maria, or Donna, would you care to address that question?
We weren't talking about boundaries there. Basically, we were just looking at the shoreline area plan as it exists today and saying that these particular neighborhoods in the shoreline area plan are not well represented. In a lot of cases, they aren't even mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so. My point there being that Conotee having the exact same zip code as Lucerne kind of premises that it is a component part of the community of Lucerne.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Austin, I understand what you're saying, but also Spring Valley, High Valley, Double Eagle Ranch, Elam, and all have the same as Clear Lake Oaks too, but they're just very diverse and very far apart.
And if I can just add one thing, I think it was stated in the Earth letter was for I think it's mostly for the same reasons that the Board of Supervisors felt that there needed to be two separate MACs, because they're kind of diverse areas that need different attention. And I think that was part of it too. If you're looking at the town halls. Yeah.
Okay. Austin, did you have anything further?
No, that was why my hand was raised. I realize now I can check off raising my hand as the first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Number 12. Are there any communities or neighborhoods that require local policy guidance? Let's see. 20 people said yes, 18 people said no in the survey. And then there was an extensive list of communities they thought needed localized policy guidance. High Valley, Spring Valley, Benmore Canyon, Double Eagle, Glen Haven, Lucerne and East, which different planning area. Senior residences needing rent control. Indian Beach Resort, Lake Marina Inn. Lake Valley Estates. Clear Lake Oaks needs rent control. So, is there any input? Hey, Betsy, anything LAPAC wants to ask questions or comment about communities or neighborhoods requiring localized policy guidance?
Maria, basically, when we went through this, we didn't answer or deal with 12 or 13 just because it seemed a little bit subjective. For instance, why should we say that somebody needs better design for their town or not? So we kind of left this open-ended.
So it's kind of like a no then, right?
Not really.
How is it different?
Well, it's just, I guess what I would have liked is if there was more, direction in terms of this.
I agree. I think the question was kind of hard to understand. But the next question, 13, if there are any communities or neighborhoods that require localized guidance for design, the look and the feel of the community, that's sort of what the question before was asking. But to me, localized policy guidance is more of what we'll allow and what we don't want to see in those areas, rather than the follow-up question or the next question in 13, which is like design guidelines. Go ahead, Gail. And also, we're a pretty small group today, so feel free if don't wait for me to call on you. You could just wait till whoever's speaking, draws breath, and then go ahead and say what you want to say. Go ahead, Gail. Did you have anything to add or ask Gail? If not, we're going to move on to 14.
Gail, you need to unmute yourself up at the top where it says the mic. There's a line that goes through it. And if you click on that.
Hang on.
There you are. Oh, you're there just a second.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't know why it wouldn't, or now it is. So I just wanted to say regarding the policy part, I would policy include something like space rent control for mobile parks. I mean, that's kind of what I thought policy meant. For specific things that may not have policy wrapped around it. Mobile home parks, space rent, pass-through charges. I don't know if it's the time to speak up about that, but that's kind of what, what I thought the question was asking.
Yeah, I think that would be a policy. Yeah.
Yeah. Should I speak more about that or wait till
Please go right ahead.
time?
Yeah, we want to,
Oh,
nope,
okay.
nope. I am determined to not rush you guys. So I want to draw out all the input from the LAPAC so that we make sure we capture it. So don't let me push you or rush you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much. And I did notice in reading through some of the information that people do want kind of trees planted and a more, let's say, maybe around mobile home parks where it looks a little, it doesn't look the best. You just see a bunch of mobiles stacked right next to each other. So I did notice that some people in taking the survey said they would like for fences or trees, do something through land to make it look a little less unsightly. I'm at Lake Village Estates and have lots of vegetation and trees and things on our property. So and we're a gated senior community. I don't know how much is in to keep senior communities. I don't know if there's any real policy around that. And I don't know how easy it is for landowners to change that. So that's a bit of an unknown for seniors who might be on a fixed income, thinking this park will remain a senior park. If it gets changed to a family park, there might be more things that can be done with raising rents and that type of thing. So our park, Lake Village Estates, Clear Lake Oaks, was recently purchased within the year by a big corporation, and lots of big corporations seem to be buying mobile home parks because they're lucrative. The space rent can be made to kind of whatever they want it to be. And the mobile home park residency law for California says that homeowners have to help with any of the improvements that the landowners might want to make. So it's very landowner friendly. They can pass through charges to us. So our mobile homes are not mobile. They're homes that if people have purchased either cash, people have mortgages, and we pay all our utilities, our taxes, we pay for water, gas, electric, everything. So the only thing that we are getting from our space is connectivity to water and gas. But it's just it just feels like there needs to be policy around what investment groups and corporations can put on us as far as fees and so forth, or improvements that they want to make to the park that they bought, So just speak up on that and let everybody know that that's really a big concern. The mobile home park residency law is, again, very, 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 very favorable to landowners, but not to the homeowners, which rent space in the park. Thank you.
Thanks, Betsy.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, the mobile home park issue is of extreme concern to those of us who live in those mobile home parks. I do as well. The county, of course, does not regulate mobile home parks. It's regulated by the State Department of Housing and Community Development, which has a special division governing regulating mobile home parks. But I think that the general plan should definitely have a policy section regarding mobile home parks and other jurisdictions, like in Sonoma County. The county and certain cities have adopted regulatory instruments to ensure fair treatment of residents That there are alternatives. I don't know what they would be for us, but this is a major issue for us, as well as wildfire prevention, evacuation, power shutdowns, disabled residents, all kinds of issues that relate to seniors. So I would agree with the speaker. I'm not sure who that was, but thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, this is Holly. I totally agree with what was just said. I mean, if we really take a look at it, we have, obviously Lake Village Estates, but if you take a look in Lucerne, both of the mobile home parks there were purchased by the same firm that purchased the one in Clear Lake Oaks. And then if you take a look at Glen Haven and the western part of Clear Lake Oaks, we have several mobile home parks in that area. And so I think it's, maybe this is a part of environmental justice too. But I do think that there should be some policies on that and looked into.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was just going to ask that too, Maria. Would you think that this would be something for the environmental justice portion or the housing element?
It might actually resonate in both.
Okay.
Environmental justice would cover demographics like seniors and low income and people who don't own a house, like a stick-built house, feasibly. So it does touch on both our sensitive communities as well as housing. So this is good that we're getting that out there. Is there anything else? Any other type of policy guidance?
I would like to, I guess I would just like to say from a different point of view, but it may come out in another section, but some type of policy or design review along the shoreline, which is something that was in the current area plan.
Good. All right, let's make a note on that one, because when we finish going through the survey, we're going to start going through the area plan, and there are a ton of priorities, policies, objectives, and implementation plans that we're going to go through and figure out if we want to keep them or if we think they're obsolete or if there's anything new that should be added to. So let's keep that one in mind. So then we also had are there any communities or neighborhoods that require localized guidance for design? So kind of what Gail was talking about landscaping and stuff like that kind of applies to that one as well. Also, just so the LAPAC knows, we do currently have some design guidelines that are standardized for the HOAs, the homes that are in residential design overlay. Typically, you'll find those in the larger subdivisions that have the CCNRs and the homeowners association rules, and so that overlay is in the zoning code, and it requires a larger minimum residence size of living space, as well as a 2-car garage and increased roof pitch and additional eaves. That's the kind of design. Localized design that we have existing. Does the LAPAC have any feel on whether we're missing something similar to that elsewhere? Like design guidelines, not necessarily for just residential. It could be for commercial. But I just want to make sure that I'm not missing any input from y'all before we move on to the next question.
I definitely think there should be something on that. In the current plan, it says no strip malls, et cetera. So there should be some sort of commercial design overlay. But also, I'd like to come from the opposite side of it. I mean, you talked about houses being larger and the HOAs, et cetera. I think we also should have some type of design policies for people that want small homes. And maybe some type of thing for commercial with residential, the mixed use, et cetera. I know in Fort Bragg, the city actually went out and purchased blueprints that they had developed that would work on all of the lots they have, and then they were giving them away for free. But that way, they were getting people who were actually building things that they wanted to see there. And it was becoming quite successful.
There is a recent state law that requires jurisdictions like Lake County to collect architectural designs for tiny homes or accessory dwelling units or things like, well, not necessarily tiny homes, permanent stick-built homes, and have those available on a website for people to use. And so we have set up the website and are ready to accept those. And I think Kurt Winchester from the Cobb Mountains, he talked about it and said he might send some in. So we are actually working on that also. Just so everybody knows, that is, I think it's in our building safety webpage. So it is important, and it saves people a lot of money. So that's one way we can encourage housing development.
Maria, this is Donna. I'm just going to jump in. Sorry, I didn't raise my hand. Here in Clear Lake Oaks, we do have our rock wall on Highway 20, and I think that's kind of a design feature that we're proud of, and we would like to keep that in mind. So when you drive in for your next meeting, I don't know if you've even noticed it, but that's
I've
really
noticed
special.
it for years. It's totally cool.
Okay, Maria, I'm gonna jump back. You mentioned HOA's design review, a residential design, and that they're required to have 2-car garages. I know that that's gonna get a lot of pushback where I'm at. Is that gonna be?
No. I'm not saying let's do that everywhere because remember, Angela, when we were looking at RD as an option for double legal,
and then we'd have a bunch of non-conforming. Okay.
No, I just wanted the LAPAC folk to know kind of what's already in existence. As far as outside of that, so like any home that's not in a subdivision like Buckingham or Kelseyville River, all those.
Right.
Just regularly, a stick-built home, I think, has to have a minimum now of 360 square feet. It went down. It used to be 720. And so now it can be even smaller, though it does have required 12-inch eaves and no less than 212 roof pitch. And there might be some other things that I just don't remember anymore.
I know. I just wanted to ask that while it was fresh in your mind and make sure. All right. Thank you.
Yes, it is not our goal to sort of frost the county like a cake with all design, with those increased design guidelines. Nope, you're safe. We're good. Betsy. Hey, Betsy, did you have something you wanted to add? Your hand's still up. So Donna, to follow up. Go ahead, Betsy.
Sorry, I couldn't find my cursor. The design guidelines, we had that whole redevelopment agency design guideline that everybody in Lucerne on the shoreline had to, put up all this gewgaw stuff to make it look like the Switzerland of America's thing. And then, that's all just, I think that's just really gratuitous. I mean, having certain kinds of standards, like having all your air conditioning up on the roof of those kinds of things, having garbage can containers, etc. Those are basic. But when you talk about style as opposed to structure, then it just makes me uncomfortable. I think we are losing the aspect that Lake County is really partly famous for, which is a lot of creativity. There's just a lot of creativity. If you look up on Cobb, some of those amazing cottages and homes, we need to encourage that instead of putting a stifling it, if you don't mind.
No, I think it's great. Keep going, Austin.
Yeah, actually, thank you, Betsy, for that comment. That sort of jogged a thought I'd had actually about that specific note, because I've also noted previously that there was I forget what the definition was, but effectively the terminology alpinism was used in a former design choice for Lucerne. And I mean, I know obviously that goes back to its namesake, but it does feel, as I remember anyways, the language of that was restrictive in its choice of words, as opposed to something meant to sort of like accent the town. And well, I'd like to see that restriction fully gone moving forward for Lucerne. Something about that, because those design choices of the past will be, I imagine, still there. Something to notify, I guess, that of the past use of that style choice.
So am I hearing then that the feel is maybe we want to get away from the restrictive Lucerne or Switzerland like style requirements and maybe allow for more innovation, but take a look at maybe some design standards that make sense, like keeping all your infrastructure, off of your front facade, like your HVACs and all that stuff?
That is exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
Structural design's fine, but decorative, no.
Okay. That's what I think I'm hearing. Good.
Austin, I don't think you need to worry about that. I would suggest that we take the particular town of Lucerne, the emphasis should be on the outdoors, the recreation, where the gateway to the Snow Mountain Berryessa wilderness. We don't promote that. And we're going to have this new harbor to really bring people together. Yeah.
That's actually where I was going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just, Maria knows I've got this thing for this this particular area, because we don't really convey the capaciousness and the easy access to some of the most beautiful parts of our county.
Yeah, generally I agree. That's actually what I was thinking. Maybe the future of a potential, if the word alpine is used again in something like a style guideline for Lucerne, that it is accentuating it from infrastructure architectural standpoint, but that from a cultural import standpoint, that alpinism, what that actually is just the Swiss loving the outdoors. And so it actually does fit well within Lucerne. It just doesn't necessarily fit as well within Lucerne for a infrastructural design restrictive use language, if that makes sense.
Yep, makes sense. Holly, and then I think Donna had her hand up, or now it's down. Go ahead, Holly.
Yeah, I guess along that vein, along the Highway 20, etc., we have so many little cottages. They were all old, second homes, secondary homes, etc., that people have started to live in and convert. And I'd really like to push a lot more rehabilitation of these places rather than tear down and putting in a manufactured home or something. It's just something in keeping with the smallness, of these homes, which are charming, which then I guess also starts leading into the tiny home stuff. But
Thank you. Anybody else?
This is Donna. I would add what Holly has said and add that on to our already existing commercial retail properties also, instead of tearing that down, update it, make that style usable in most instances too.
Okay. If that's what we have for that question, let's move on to 14. It looks like we got plenty to talk about on 14. How should the county preserve small town character? So you can see on the paper, the number of answers on those.
Maria, if I can just jump in on that. So basically, everything in black is exactly what was on the survey. If we disagreed with it, and there's maybe only a couple of them, we crossed it. We put a cross through on it. So basically, we agreed with pretty much everything that was there, and then we added in red and then added in any blue that we felt was not covered, already here.
Thanks. So if you jump down to E, the preserve historic and cultural features, that's kind of what we were just talking about, that contribute to the small town character and feel. I like Austin's alpinism, referring to the appreciation of the outdoors. I think that ties in with the definitely with being the gateway to the snow mountain recreation.
Yeah,
Various.
particularly on that point, and as it references letter E here, this is just a side note, but it is something important, and I don't know where else we would put it. That designation, the gateway of Berryessa Snow Mountain National Monument, and Lucerne having attained that, it's actually very important culturally, as I came to understand it, as there was a native trail that's passed from the village that formerly was Lucerne to effectively the Bartlett Springs area, which is a totally different tribal group that were not even Pomo, they were Patun. And so this would have been effectively like an international boundary crossing, as I understand it, of a trail that transcends up and down somewhere along Pinnacle Rock, Bartlett Springs area. And if at all possible, that's something that I'd like to really drill back down, particularly as it kind of correlates into the Swiss's love of alpinism.
That's interesting.
This is Donna, and I could add to that, and I think that's very important. And all along the High Valley Ridge, in the 2 dots on a map by Dr. Parker, and this other book I have, I can't remember the name right now, but it does mention how High Valley Ridge, like Bartlett Springs, all the way down to Cache Creek, they can document smaller tribes that I hadn't even heard the name of before. So that's something really important to consider.
Yeah, I confirm. That's actually one of the documents I've cited, and it's deeply important to me as a citizen of Lucerne to maintain those connections to those areas that, even while today they're, federal monument space and hand people's homes and cabins and our recreation space, that if we can keep that somehow within the North District's area, and obviously a little bit implicitly into Lucerne, if only because I believe Bartlett Springs Road specifically, and or some of the prior logging roads, which are now fire roads here in Lucerne, some of them I believe are the actual trail. So we have potential routes that were somewhat preserved here.
And this is Donna again. The book that, starting on like page 200, it's called The Handbook of the Indians of California, and it's by Kroeber, is fascinating, and it really highlights a lot more than I'd ever read before.
Huh. Go ahead, Betsy.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I can't even remember in which document I suggested this, but I think Ray and I were talking about the design of the actual document, the end document, and in line with previous conversations about the Native American culture and cultural resources, I had suggested that throughout the document we include some of those mapping historical records that Dr. Parker has, along with pictures of contemporary Native American activities. I mean, we, in our economic development section, we ought to be highlighting those casinos and school operations and projects that they're working on, Terra and the wildfire prevention crews, all that kind of stuff. We need to really show that is integrated thoroughly into our communities, and our document should reflect that. So totally all the references that you guys have made, Alice and Donna, are completely in line with that. We should really be showing that as the history of the county. Thank you.
Love it. Angela.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with everyone, and I wish Robert Geary was here because I'd love to hear his thoughts on this. And then we have to be remember that Walker Ridge was recently redesignated to the Moloch tribe. So, and that all ties, same thing, you know, Walker Ridge loops around to Bartlett. But I know Robert probably has some very good maps that would be helpful in this area. Um, but I agree with what everyone said so far. Thank you.
Stuff. Betsy, did you have something else, or we'll go to Gail? Your hand's still up. Go ahead, Gail.
Hi, yeah, I agree with everyone. I've only been here 2 years and such a rich history here, and I feel like I don't know much about any of it. So the mention of the book is very nice, and it would be so nice because we're so, you get the sign as you go around the lake, and oh, I'm in this town, I'm in this town, I'm in this town. And so it would be so nice to have information somewhere that people could, get out of the car, look at the lake, read about the town that they're coming into, and because there's so much to know. Thank you.
This is Donna again. I think if we really dive into this and with Mr. Gary's information, that would be really great. Because like on LM, on Rattlesnake or Sulphur Bank Island, it used to be called, it was also called, a group of people were called like the Kamina or the Hawina or the Kaguma, and Notal was the chief. Little things like that that we don't know that are just so cool. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
Okay, can I just throw one other thing out about this?
Okay, Angela, then Betsy.
Sorry. So growing up, we used to spend a lot of time up in Gold Country and where the Miwok tribes were and stuff like that. And up there, they have a lot of storyboards. Every parking lot you pull into, any park that you go to, any, rest area, they have storyboards that just give you a little synopsis of what went on. And we used to find that fascinating, even as kids. Just running around reading all of those. So maybe something like that would be good along the shoreline too, at the parks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Holly, how does a storyboard and a story poll the same thing? You said story, or on this document, story polls.
Story polls.
That's Angela.
So storyboards are like, the storyboard is going to be something you see in a parking lot that gives you the little description, right? And like
they're the interpretive signs. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what story polls are is, let's say I go to you and I say I'm going to build a 2-story building, and during the process before it goes to planning commission, you have to erect basically just wood. You can use wood or metal, but to show the height and the width, to give everybody a vision of what it's going to look like. So if it's going to impact views or anything like that, that's what story polls are.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So is it my turn?
Yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Betsy.
Okay. So, well, I'll just jump in. When the visitors closed down in Lucerne, the County Department of Economic Development promised that they would substitute that one center with kiosks at every town, just as Gail was talking about. And the Lake County Library System was given the responsibility to provide interim information resources until they did this kiosk project, which they never did. And, so some of these things, and the story poll is really crucial, but we have this all, in the economic development, we have all of this stuff that can be invested in according to the Rickelman, to the big shot at the administration, whatever his name is,
Ben.
We have a community economic or comprehensive economic development strategy it's about to be approved. That should dovetail with all that stuff. So That's why I keep asking people to read the CEDS. You'll learn a world about the county. Thank you.
Betsy, we have a kiosk in Clear Lake Oaks, but it's not very good at all, and it's not very well maintained and somewhat hidden. They did try putting in kiosks. That was something that Alan Flora did. He put them up he put up these touch screens that nobody could figure out how to use.
Well, yeah, I mean,
so I don't know what happened to them. I think they might have gone to the graveyard.
Oh no, they were
I haven't seen
horrible.
that one.
But
I think there was one at Two Brothers Plaza for a while.
Might have been, but anyway, they're awful. So their old CRT technology. Can you believe that? Like
Okay, well, it was a few years ago, so
well, anyway,
that stuff
so
gets obsolete pretty quick.
There's all this precedent set, and everything that everybody else has talked about is all about like that. How do you maintain that small town community feel? Well, you maintain the uniqueness. And that rock wall is the image of Lake County to me.
I just wanted to say one of the things that we have put together that we've given to Lars is having, John T. Klaus Park is at the intersection of Highway 20 and Highway 53. And we gave him a vision of having that be kind of like the gateway to Lake County if you're headed, headed towards the west, et cetera. And one of the things we did want to have was a lot of the history, the Native American information, flora, fauna, basically something that if people were coming along Highway 20 and they suddenly stop there, it's a rest spot. And as they're resting or maybe recharging or whatever, they can actually go through and learn about this. So it could be a good way of doing outreach for everything that everyone has talked about.
That's a totally cool idea. Good. How about this extra comment on G, establishing and maintaining vibrant, convenient, and attractive community spaces regarding the developing family-oriented events that showcase our natural beauty. That's awesome. Seasonal lakeside festivals and outdoor movie nights. Totally cool. Anybody have any other ideas for that one? Attractive community spaces, destinations, and events that foster social interactions.
I think they're having pretty good success with the craft fair that they've been doing at Nylander Park. I think that's been doing pretty well. I think they're doing it once a month now.
Wow, cool.
I agree.
Yeah,
And this is Donna. I also had volunteered Red Red Audubon to do nature talks and walks at Klaus Park.
That's awesome.
This is Gail. The Nylander Park monthly craft fair has been going really, really well.
Yay. Betsy?
I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to South America, but in the rural towns that I visited, I lived in Mexico for almost a year, and we just traveled from little town to little town. They all had a town square. Well, we have Nylander Park in Clear Lake Oaks. That's pretty good. They had a square. And in some of the towns, the only nighttime that they had an electric light was when they would light up the light bulb over the square. And then the mariachis would play and people would dance on this platform. And they would have, community events there. People could sit there in the daytime. But man, it was just evening fun. Now, what we have is a gap for people who are younger adults who are looking for things to do. They may not have kids, but like afternoon and evening stuff seems to work really well here.
Good. Thank you. Maria.
I like that idea. I'm sorry. This is Donna. But in Clear Lake Oaks, that would be totally unsafe. We don't go to Nylander or Clark's Island. It's definitely not safe.
Maria.
Hi, everyone. Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Something that hasn't been mentioned anywhere, but one of my favorite things when I lived in Santa Cruz was to go to this huge flea market they had every weekend, or every twice a month or whatever it was. There was one in Santa Cruz, and there was a ginormous one in San Jose. And the flea market featured just regular schmoes with their stuff, as well as other vendor type people who had like more permanent businesses that they would sell their stuff out of. But I wish Lake County had something like that. I loved going to the flea markets and bartering with people. And, I actually used to go sell, and, $25 entry fee or whatever. And I'd have my little space, and I'd get to, set up my stuff and sell my goods and, make a little money, but also gets rid of some of my stuff. And I think it would be really a great thing if we could find a place to do it in Lake County. It's one thing that our county really doesn't have, is a really great flea market. And there's a lot of people that do crafts and do have stuff to sell, and, have to do just these little individual yard sales or whatnot. But I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there. I think it would be a neat thing to have somewhere.
Like a maker's market.
Yeah, somewhere. I mean, I love
Cool.
I love the one that's going on in the Oaks. That's terrific. But I was thinking more in terms of they took the drive-in theater parking lot and turned that into the flea market on the weekends. And so there was a lot of space, and they utilized the space when it wasn't being utilized for its regular purpose. And I just think it would bring a lot of people together and create a lot of commerce, and maybe, I don't know, raise the spirits of the community. I loved going to it. So anyway, I just want to throw that one out there.
Thank you.
I don't know where it fits, but I thought I
We'll
would say.
find a place. Yeah, no, I think it's totally in this question still too.
Okay.
Let's go over just quickly the others, the list underneath the others before we move on to the next question. Ensure compliance between countywide general plan and local area plan when approving projects. One thing that I want this LAPAC and every LAPAC to know is that as we keep going through the Lake County 2050 project, you may actually hear us referring to the local area plans as elements, because that's what we call the different chapters of the general plan. And we have made the change just for this one, but I see it going forward, that we're no longer really going to differentiate between general plan and local area plans. We're turning it into the state as one big general plan update. And I think that this will be beneficial going forward, especially for processing land use permits in the planning division, because there won't really be a separate planning document of a local area plan. They're all going to be the same community visioning document. So just so that can help with that concern. Considering HOA covenants, restrictions, and conditions when approving projects, pretty sure that's not going to happen because of legal issues as far as what the county has jurisdiction to do, but noted. And then is there anything else? Ensure the board appointed municipal councils are aware of projects in early. Okay, so this doesn't really sound exactly like policy stuff to me. This sounds like what we're always trying to do is make sure that our municipal advisory councils get sent stuff at the RFR stage early, so you do know early, because it is an ongoing priority. I know it may not feel like it sometimes when we mess up, but it is an ongoing department priority to make sure that our municipal advisory councils are given the tools, the information and the data that y'all need in order to provide the input, which is the whole reason why you're giving up your time to participate on a municipal advisory council. So I hear you. I get that. Enforcing the code. Yeah. Okay. Limit size of cannabis grows. Is this directly to how the county should preserve small town character? Does someone want to expand on that one?
Absolutely.
Go ahead. I was thinking it'd be Holly, but go ahead, Bessie.
Sorry. I mean, we have this invasion of these commercial cannabis operations scattered outside the community development boundaries because they have to exclude all these factors. And but they're bringing in all the big heavy truck traffic and all the equipment and all the workers and all this other stuff. Uh, that's not small town.
Holly, go ahead.
I guess we kind of considered large grows. And when I'm saying, large grows, and certainly we have had one, what was ours, 60 acres that was up here. That's big business. We talk about we didn't want big box stores, et cetera. That's just, we want to preserve the small charm. We do not have an issue with cannabis. We would like to really promote the small, craft grower, as opposed to having these out of town, and it's the same thing with the vineyards too, having these large scale out of town people that come in to use our resources and then don't necessarily live here or have much to do with it or have any interplay with it. I mean, some people do, but others don't. So it's all kind of under this, that's just a subsection of a larger umbrella of, yes, preserving the small town charm and promoting small business, promoting infill, promoting, local.
Okay, good. Thank you. How about, so you said that relates to the develop controls on vineyard expansion. Can you address that real quick?
Basically, what we see are, vineyards just being expanded, trees coming down, et cetera, and it just kind of happens. And so we would like to have the county have a bit more looking at and controlling these expansions, because they do have an effect on water. They do, start to take over the scenery, et cetera. I mean, we all have to work together, basically, and we need to conserve our resources while helping each other.
Does the control on vineyard expansion also touch on maintaining wildlife corridors?
That definitely could be along with that. I think that was addressed in one of the other sections.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just like restrict industrial uses and development along the shoreline hills and hilltops, that to me sounds like preserve aesthetics. Is that where you're
Absolutely.
coming from? Okay.
It's actually an expansion of the geothermal setback, I'd say, the concept of it.
Ah, okay. Go ahead, Maria.
Okay. So yes, I just wanted to comment on that vineyard expansion. I bought my house in 2000, and when I moved in, my entire valley on the other side of the hill was all forested, and Brassfield moved in or started his stuff up somewhere around 2002, 2004, and he has entirely clear cut that mountain range that I see. There's like 3 or 4 little trees up there, but the rest of that forest area is gone. And if you look at the map for the vineyards from above, his area and Monte Cristo's area is just wiping out this whole stretch of area in the Oaks. And it's just it's all vineyard, and there is no real wildlife corridor to speak of. I mean, I don't know where they would put it, but to me, it's just heartbreaking that so much land has just been clear cut and is being used for grapes, and there's no trees left over on my mountain. My view is just it's sad. It's everywhere I look around me is more vineyards. Shannon Ridge, they've got a bunch. I can see it everywhere, and it's just it's encroaching in all of the natural areas, and there should be some limits on it. We've got plenty of grapes. So my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thanks, Maria. Go ahead, Holly.
If I could also expand on that, we see a lot of this grading or cutting down of vegetations on these slopes. And we know for a fact, because we have done sampling, that we have there's many times no erosion controls put into position, which is why we have issues with Schindler Creek, or any of the keys, et cetera. Just there's a lot of sediment coming off a lot of this. So that's part of what I'm talking about in terms of controls.
Okay. That last line, then, explore senior park ordinance and zoning overlay. Is this what we talked about already regarding just landscaping, or is what kind of senior park ordinance?
So I think Gail touched on that, but that was it was an answer in the other section where people wrote in their answers. We threw those in there. So I think that was from where that came from. But I
Okay.
think that's what Gail touched on earlier. Yeah.
Okay. Next question,
Maria-
15. Well, wait, go ahead, Betsy.
Sorry, Maria, I already just gave you that explanation about how the regulatory framework has to be, we need to interact with that to protect the residents here.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
The county has to help us. Thank you.
I just want to make sure we're not missing something on that line. Okay, we're going to move on to circulation and transportation. What should the county do to improve roadway safety for all users, including drivers, bicyclists, and pedestrians? Let me get to that question. There we go. All right. So the top survey answer was consider all modes of travel. So multimodal safety for driving, walking, biking, and riding transit in the planning, design, and construction of all transportation projects. To create safe, livable, and inviting environments for pedestrians, bicyclists, motorists, and public. Good. Okay. So we've got prioritized development, maintenance of evacuation routes for limited access rural areas. Good. Yeah. Okay. Route large trucks not making deliveries along Highway 20 corridor to 5329. So wait. Because I've seen don't let large trucks on 20.
So when you're coming from let's say you're coming from like Spring Valley heading down, you head down the hill coming into by the Moose Lodge. And when you're coming down that hill, it does say no hazardous trucks on Highway 20. It says large trucks reroute to Highway 29, but it's not enforced. Obviously, you see all the logging trucks on Highway 20. And so I think, but there are signs that coming from both directions. If you're coming from Clear Lake into Clear Lake Oaks, and also if you're coming from Spring Valley into the roundabout, there's a big sign right there that says, might be before the top of the ridge, but there is a sign.
All right. And what do you think that the county can do, considering that this is that highways are state? Where can the county support?
This is part of the Caltrans plan. And so I guess in one of these other places, we say support the Caltrans plans that they're coming up with for traffic safety. So they do, I mean, right now you can't, as it was said, bring something with hazardous waste along Highway 20. They still do that. It says it's recommended that they go around the south part of the lake, and it was recommended until they started getting the rest of Highway 29 redone. But in Caltrans plans, that's what their plans are to reroute, only have local trucks go through.
Okay. So the A part, the prioritizing, actually across all the surveys, this was usually number 1 or 2. So we're pretty consistent right there. And thank you for pointing out those specific areas. So minimizing speeds. I'll skip that one unless anybody has something to say for B or C. These are kind of low responses on the survey.
I think the highest thing, and we have told this to Caltrans, is getting that safety crosswalk. So we would like the county to help push getting a safety crosswalk at the East Lake School because it is so dangerous.
Did you have that one on here?
Yes, we do.
There you go. East Lake School crosswalk. Okay, good. Good.
I would like to add something just regarding that. I don't know how many of you have been driving that Highway 20 corridor recently, but there's been a lot of crosswalk work going on over the past week, including, the flashing light crosswalk, some additional lighting in those areas, repainting of the crosswalks. So just for anybody who hasn't noticed that, there has been a significant amount of work regarding crosswalks going on. specifically along the Highway 20 corridor.
Rebecca, just real quick, since it seems like they started on the western side and are working their way east, do, have you seen where are they putting in flashing lights that are controlled by a button, like you push the button and the light starts flashing? Okay.
Yes.
So it's not one where it just constantly stays flashing all the time.
There may be one that constantly stays flashing all the time, but most of them are by the button.
Okay. Because I just worry about the ones that stay flashing all the time. I've seen it in the Bay Area a lot where they put them in and people are notice them in the beginning, but then they become complacent when they're always flashing and they don't stop as quickly as they would if when it starts flashing when you're coming up on it.
Yeah. No, I think most of them have a button control. Yeah.
Okay.
See,
Thank you.
I wouldn't mind seeing a signal light put in by East Lake School. I think it would warrant it just because of the way the roads turn and you just all of a sudden you see the school stuff. And so that I wish they would put a light there, but that's just me.
Actually, the plan is they're doing across what do you call it, where they put in a center strip so that the kids get across one part of it and then they can stop there and then they go to another part of it. There's another one of those being put up further, but in the second portion of Caltrans plan, they plan on doing that, which will end up blocking also some of the turn lanes. I mean, so people can't use them to pass.
I think they called it a refuge island, Holly. Is that what they called it?
Yeah,
That's a good name.
it could be.
Frogger.
No. All right. Anything else on that question, or should we move on to sustainability of the transportation network?
I had a point, just minor, but it could really help. I feel a lot of people, specifically as it relates to bus stops and centers of a lot of foot or pedestrian traffic, thinking shopping centers, food, gas stations, the post offices. There is a severe lack of infrastructure for really, it's just bicycle locks, an actual rack on which you can lock your bike to. I've noticed this specifically in Lucerne. I tend to lock my bicycle to traffic poles with signs on them. But there are, I've counted, 2 in all of the town of Lucerne of 18 blocks. There are 2 bicycle racks outside of the school area, and one of them is privately owned by Lakeview, so they installed that themselves. At the bus stop specifically, moving forward for this is really probably countywide, many bus stops, especially, I mean, not that, I think Mendocino County as well. I know Napa County, Sonoma County have facility, it's kind of hard to describe, but effectively like a hinging like locker of which swings over and you could bring your lock to lock your bike outside of a bus stop and then potentially, go onto a bus on foot. I think
that's cool.
Anything like that moving forward, but potentially starting from a place of just kind of inventorying how many bicycle racks are available per area, per, I don't know, every 5 some, travel miles on the bus, that would help out a lot.
Good. That's good stuff. Thank you. Anything else?
Maria, I think you're down to E now, but I just want to go back up to D real quick because if you notice where it says the survey said requires street lighting, and right there,
D. There is no D.
So, right there, D. So we added in solar because right now in the Oaks, all the street lights are solar. So
yeah,
they should probably the solar actually. I don't remember who it was that came and did a presentation at Earth, but he said that the solar ones were better because, they're very low maintenance and cost efficient. So,
yeah. Good. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, next one. Whoop, back down. How should the county improve sustainability of the transportation network and support access to transit? Typically, the top answer on this one was to look regionally, like improve connectivity with the regional transportation services, linking Lake County communities to each other, to the region, and to major destinations, such as the Sacramento International Airport. So that was usually across the board in all the different surveys. That was usually the top answer. Let me see, 16. Oop, gosh, darn it, did it again. Sorry.
Maria, does it matter if something was the top answer? Does that mean you're going to kick these other things out?
Not at all. Thank you for clarifying that. I just thought, I don't know, to me, I find it interesting. But what I find actually more interesting and valuable is not just the top answers in the multiple choice, but also the stuff that gets written in. To me, that's like pretty meaty, good stuff. So yeah, ferry system. We've looked at that for what? How many decades? Every so often that comes up. That's pretty cool. Dial-a-ride, Lake Link. Okay. Let me see. Okay, there you go. Here's Austin's comment written down in this one. Buses and facilities could all use more bicycle storage. Good. Be sure more modes of transportation are senior friendly, was a write-in. The long one. But it basically is about developing a Lakeside Connect system to fleet of electrical shuttles running a loop connecting major residential areas. Ooh, I like it. That's pretty cool. Okay, and went on to sort of flesh that out a little bit. Is there anything you guys want to add or highlight in sustaining transportation connectivity network?
Yeah, I'd say everything that we have in red, exploring the ferry system, expand Dial-a-Ride and Lake Link, maybe explore working with Napa Vine to get people down towards Napa County for shopping or whatever.
Right, more regional connectivity. Okay.
Yeah, improvements to the Lake Transit bus system. Make sure the buses are in working order. Maybe possibly partner with the high school automotive school for repair options there. Invest in the infrastructure like roads and transportation, better accessibility for elderly and disabled citizens.
Are those two different things? Those sound like two different things.
Not. It could be that we kind of push them together. We were combining a lot of different thoughts that were pretty much similar.
Okay. Let me scroll up a little bit to E.
So that was right above E.
Yeah, seats, shades, and cover. That's a good one that I've heard in a number of LAPACs as well. Particularly in hot days. Good.
Oh, it's
okay.
It's amazing how many people you can see in wheelchairs, etc., just sitting there in the hot sun, or in the rain, sitting on the ground.
Ew. Okay.
But I'd like to point out, if you look at the shelters that are in the city of Clear Lake, they have a bench in them. And one of the problems that they have in the city of Clear Lake is people will camp out in the shelters, especially when it's raining. So what some places have started doing, instead of putting a bench seat, they're individual seats to kind of discourage that. You can sit there, but they want somebody taking up the whole shelter. So that's one thing that the city of Clear Lake has battled with that for a while, and maybe that's something if the county's going to put, or if they're going to ask the transit company to put shelters, they might want to consider doing individual seats instead.
You can also have those benches that have like little section dividers, kind of.
Oh yeah, like
armrests. Yeah.
In Lucerne, we've actually had, I think, 2, if not 3 additional bus shelters, which I'm very glad of. But I only just noticed in this last week, they're probably not coincidentally, all facing westbound traffic. So if you're leaving Lucerne on the bus and going eastbound, and it's inclement weather, you're out there in it, or you have to cross the highway as the bus approaches you from around a corner to cross in front of them and join. So I guess I would think of, if there's at all any way with Lake Transit Authority to work on something like incentivizing or strategizing how some of these facilities or infrastructure items can go in, because I know that they would eat pretty significantly into their budget, and particularly an eastbound lane bus shelter may as well also potentially block lake views in certain neighborhoods. So there's a lot to consider there, but at the same time, like, the need is definitely there as well. So anything we could do to help LTA sort of like direct attention in this way would be great, I think.
Good. Thank you. Anything else before we move on to open space?
Yeah, I don't know if it would be a Caltrans thing or county can work with Caltrans, but encouraging people to, because especially on Highway 20, well, a lot of the roads in Lake County are dark, but people have a tendency to walk with traffic. And even DMV, the state of California, says that you're supposed to walk facing traffic in the opposite direction. And I don't know if we need signage along the highway, but there needs to be some outreach and letting people know that you shouldn't walk with traffic. You're supposed to walk facing it, which may help, because a lot of people walk in dark clothing too, which I don't understand when it's really dark out. But yeah, that might help save somebody's life in the long run.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to move on to open space, conservation, and recreation, but I just want to do a quick time check. It is 3:18. We're going until 3:30 today. And I just got to say that this is the one LAPAC that really is chewing on every question and talking about every question. It's totally cool. So I just have Ruby taking a look at the calendar, because I think that we may need to schedule another probably 2 virtual meetings to finish up the second survey. And also, okay, there are no others scheduled. So what I'd like to do with this group before we close, so let's end at like 3:25, is figure out a date, 2 dates for another couple virtual meetings, so that we can have the time that we need to finish up the second survey. And then going through the policies, I don't know how long that'll take. So if you guys are okay with 2 more virtual meetings with possibly a third, I want to make sure that this group has the time to vet everything as much as you need to. I don't want to rush you. So we'll work on that at 3:25. Ruby, if you wave at me at 3:25, that'll be helpful. And yeah, it could be Saturdays. We'll open up the dates at 3:25. Keep going. Back to open space, conservation, and recreation. How should the county protect, preserve, and manage historic and cultural resources? What number is that? 17. And just to point out, the top answer here is usually typically the top answer in all the surveys, which is prioritize preservation and adaptive reuse of buildings, sites, and areas that have identifiable archaeological, cultural, or historical significance. That across the board, that has been what Lake County chooses in that multiple choice question as the top one is saving and rehabilitating historic resources, particularly structures. But I want to hear what you guys think.
Absolutely agree. It definitely, and it also goes along in line where we talk about rehabilitation and infill, rather than new.
And we've already discussed the benefit of those interpretive signs, or just more outreach, so that people just, driving by, not thinking about it, can become more aware of the rich cultural history that we have. What else?
I made a little bit long-winded of a written point on that story polls idea. It's in the comments.
In the chat?
Section. Yeah,
Okay.
it was just, I wrote it out and hit enter about a minute after we had moved past the story polls, but I believe it would check back into this item.
Go ahead. You want to read it so we have it verbally? It's not very long.
Yeah, so I said I like the story polls idea a lot, specifically for the Highway 20 corridor. I meant more explicitly sort of from here in Lucerne, the east or middle region towards the east of the shoreline. So back to the written, between the Elam, Camdot, and Shigum tribelets, tribal boundaries largely follow the contemporary natural boundaries between Lucerne, Conotay, and Paradise Valley and Clear Lake Oaks area. So that encumbers the what we consider, I guess, the rock wall of Highway 20. Like that's two specific boundaries that would be marked there. In my opinion, placing some significant size signage and or noticeable painted mark on the Highway 20 road surface between those three tribelet areas can be an excellent catalyst for cultural appreciation of our historic past. Then also including Robinson's and Habmodalo on the west end of Highway 20 could give the highway an easy cultural boost towards historic or scenic status.
Interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to jump in on that. Austin, that's actually one of the things that we had talked about when we talked about John T. Klaus Park. And I'm more than happy to forward you what we've written up on this. But when we talked about John T. Klaus Park, we talked about everything that you're talking about, plus the biological, maybe the native vegetation, everything. And then we thought, and this would be something for the Upper Lake area plan, we thought this would be when you hit Clear Lake Oaks, you're at the gateway to Lake County from the east. Flip it over, and when you hit Upper Lake, you're at the gateway to Lake County from the west. And they could be doing the exact same thing, but also then promoting the Middletown restoration thing. A lot of that. And then, of course, Lucerne would be the entrance, the gateway to the National Monument from the center. And basically the premise being that the entire North Shore is promoted as this because we have a built-in captive, 25,000 cars that drive through in the summer because they're driving, to get to the ocean because it's cooler there. In this way, we could start to help develop the economics here, and also keep and preserve the stuff that we care about.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I'm actually on the Klaus Park. I was on the last Klaus Park meeting and hoping to stay with it. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that for Lucerne, Clear Lake Oaks, Upper Lake, kind of joining the whole district together that way for growth and appreciation of the past.
Yeah, it's a great idea to have things along the road. That's excellent. But to have this opportunity to have a nice place at the park where it's all kind of spelled out so well and people can get out of the car and really appreciate it is a really good opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a good place for one. Sorry, Betsy. I didn't see your hand. One of the good places would be like right when you come into. Okay, I'm thinking heading from the east to the west, from Clear Lake Oaks into Lucerne. And right when you get into Lucerne, there's the big pullout on the left-hand side. I think it's like a Vista Point, or I don't know what it's called. But right there where a lot of people stop and there's a porta potty right there and people fish on the beach right there. That would be a good area to have some of those storyboards.
Yeah. Yes.
Is there anything for 17? We're going to end today with 17. Anything else? And we'll pick up. Go ahead.
On 17, I'd just like to point out on letter E, it says establish a process for considering designation of structures older than 50 years. We recommend 100 years because there's a lot of places in Lake County that are already hit the 50-year mark that aren't historical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 50 in the different historic preservation ordinance I've seen mostly 50 or 75. But yeah, that's good input. Betsy?
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry I didn't join the meeting until about 2:09, so I don't know if you addressed this question or not, but I had submitted a proposal to the Shoreline Communities Area Plan, LAPAC, and the Earth members, as well as the Central Region Town Hall members, and the Upper Lake Neese LAPAC members, suggesting that the shift of the community of Lucerne into the western side for the community, the contiguous community growth boundaries away from the shoreline, focused on Clear Lake Oaks. And I wonder if any discussion was brought up about that, or if there's any response from the people on this meeting.
Good. So I want just so the LAPACs know, we did get some people attending the all-in-person LAPAC meeting was it last week before, regarding changing those planning area boundaries, but I didn't really feel like we had robust enough attendance to get a good solid feel. So I am going to bring that back also to our in-person LAPAC meeting in the shoreline communities. Betsy, let's see, when did you send that out? I vaguely remember seeing that.
I think it was just a couple days ago. I can send it again.
Cool. Yeah,
it went to all of those people. It went to all 3 municipal advisory councils and the LAPACs.
Okay.
So
I do plan on having that discussion with the LAPACs. I don't plan on attending municipal advisory council meetings for it, just because I just don't have the bandwidth for it. But it would be awesome if the MACs wanted to send something in, because that would definitely be collected and compiled as well.
Well, here's the deal. I'm trying to get the MACs to serve the community as their spokesperson, and we have a representative theoretically on each LAPAC from that, but we haven't had that interaction. So I really,
cool.
It's important. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. It's awesome. I do rely heavily on MACs for input, particularly right now, because they have been brought, appointed by the board in order to be that help collect community input and serve as an advisory body. Go ahead, Donna.
How are you reaching the younger people, and how did the Spanish reach out go?
Spanish one was awesome. And I am not sure, reaching out to the people who apparently don't take many surveys, which is anybody under 50. Yeah, I'm not sure how we're going to reach those people right now. We're focused. The Spanish stakeholder meeting was super cool. There were probably about 40 people there. It was almost all entirely in Spanish, and it was wonderful just to listen to them. Really talking. The format kind of resembled our first series of community meetings, like assets and things we want to protect and things we want to change, and a lot of it was very similar. From my understanding, I think I could only get like maybe 60% of what they were saying, because it's real hard for me to speak Spanish. But we had a number of interpreters there, and a lot of the chat was just primarily in Spanish, so that we wouldn't have that lag time of interpreting. Gilbert is doing a report. He's compiling all of the sheets that we got for the different small groups to sort of talk about what was important to them. He's compiling all of that into a report that we'll then put on Lake County 2050, both in English and in Spanish. But it was awesome. It was great. I think this group, we'll all be really interested to see how similar themes resonate. It doesn't matter what language we're speaking. We all want a safe place for our kids and safe roads and be able to grow old with dignity and, common human themes. And thank you for asking. I still get all excited when I think about that meeting. But we're going to have another meeting for Spanish stakeholders, I think, once we get draft area plans out. And I don't think we'll have the area plans completely translated, but we will offer like a highlights and main points and things like that in English and Spanish. That'll be kind of a good start for discussion. Younger people still having trouble. I went to a back to school night and just didn't get anything. So if y'all have recommendations, send them my way.
It's the pizza.
Yeah.
That's what did it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, government is not allowed to pay for pizza. We did pizza at the Spanish stakeholders, but I almost had to take it out of my own pocket. So
oh no.
I'll have to think of something else.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you talked with the is there a resource office? No, I guess it wouldn't be. I don't even know which department at the school. do they even do economics anymore? But this would be good. It's like the government courses. This would be a good
Yeah.
training for them and how you get a local area plan and a general plan.
Yeah, it would be.
Government.
It would be awesome.
Maybe I'll reach out to the three vice principals that I'm in communication with and see if there's a way you can get surveys there.
Well, you know what? The survey periods are over, but what could be work would be in January when we have local area plans to see if
Okay.
there's any interest in those government classes taking a look at the draft local area plan and say
Okay.
what they think.
Okay, that sounds good.
That'd be totally cool. Yeah, okay, who was next? Austin.
Hey, yeah, sorry, just real quick, a minor note. If we were moving off, I think it was 17. I had just barely finished reading the full list of things to likely protect. And I think something I missed or didn't see was trails and routes. And that would be something I'd like to see added into that. If only we're moving off of item 17, sorry.
Oh, that's a
No,
great idea.
yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
We could put that
And
towards
can-
the next meeting.
Can we do Holly's water trails also? That was
I
amazing.
love those water trails.
Yeah, definitely in my consideration along with that, yeah.
Good. Okay, let's work. Oh, we're a little over, so let's figure out another couple times for virtual meetings. We've got Wednesday, the 6th. Let's see, I thought I highlighted. Here's Shoreline. There's your line. Wednesday, the 6th from 9 to 3. Thursday, the 7th from 10 to 2. Friday, the 8th from 2:30 on. Are you looking at my calendar too, Ruby? Okay, excellent. And then Saturday the 9th all day. And then Wednesday the 13th again. So how about, let's get something in that first week, the 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th. 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th. Anything here? 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th in this box? Is there a meeting time that works? How about Wednesday the 6th? Let's see, I've got a 10 to 11:30. How about Wednesday the 6th in the afternoon? Say like 1. Does that work?
It sounds
That'll work for
good.
Donna.
Works for Gail.
That
Is that-
works.
What time did I say? 1? Okay. Is there anybody that doesn't work for that's here right now?
What'd you say? 1 to 3:30?
1 to 2:30 or 3? Wait,
One-
yeah, it usually goes about 90 minutes.
So 1 to 2:30? Okay, that would work. Yeah.
So we have the Earth meeting on that day too, but it's not till 4, so that should be fine.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna put 1 right there. How long away is that? That's kind of ways. Huh? Where are we? We're here. Okay. I just don't want us to run out of time. How about anybody want to do a weekend?
I can
Mine-
occasionally do weekends, but that Saturday in particular does not work for me.
Okay. The only thing is this next week then, right here, once we get into here, this is our last week. Where's our in-person? Okay, we will have had our in-person. Let's do one more in the beginning so we can scramble and do a last one if we don't get through. Because I just have a feeling that this particular group, the way our discussion is going, and as many policies as we need to look at, might take a while. So how about, let's see, where are we? 2 to 3:30, 6 p.m. Okay, not Tuesday. How about Wednesday?
Or
There a
Maria,
time-
did you want to do Friday the 8th and then if
Oh yeah, I
really
just don't want to max
Sorry.
you guys out.
Okay, no, there's a loud, I'm on the road right now and there's a loud siren going off, so I apologize if you guys hear that. But
Can't hear it.
but I'd rather overbook and then we can not hold them if we need to, but I don't want you to get too booked up with other things. If we did Friday morning, I don't know what everybody else thinks. I could do Friday morning.
What does everybody think? Well, I can only do Friday 2:30 on.
That's good.
Okay, yeah, that works for me.
Okay, Friday 2:30.
It's fine.
Good.
Friday,
Thank you. guys.
2:30.
We're pushing it on Fridays. You know, people are ready to go. 2:30 to 4. Good.
That'll work for Donna. I'll call in.
Okay, 2:30 to 4 virtual. Excellent. Let's do those two. And that might get us done, but we should probably have a third just in case that we won't hold if we don't need to.
Tuesday
Somewhere
the
in
12th?
here. What's the Tuesday the 12th? Let me see. I've got a 2 to 3:30 and a 6, so I could only probably do the morning time. Wait. Do we have we don't have a board? No, we have no BOS on that day because it's a holiday, or what Monday is. Tuesday, Wednesday 1 to 2:30.
Yeah, that's better action.
Wednesday 1 to 2:30, kind of like what we've been doing.
It's fine.
I vote yes.
Excellent.
I'm sorry, which day did you say
Wednesday the 13th as our
Okay, so
last
what,
virtual
it's not
meeting, only if
Tuesday,
we
it's
need it.
Wednesday? Okay.
Okay, this makes me feel a lot more comfortable. Okay.
Okay,
Because
can we just recap all of that?
Yep.
So I have down that it's going to be the in-person on Monday, November 4th, at 6 PM in the Nylander Building, and I'll see about getting the chairs and the tables.
Thank
And
you.
then we have Wednesday, the 6th from 1 to 2:30, Friday,
Uh-huh.
the 8th from 2:30 to 4, and Wednesday, the 13th from 1 to 2:30.
That's what I have.
Okay,
Yes.
got it.
Okay. And we were supposed to try to get our press release out on Friday, but it just did not happen. So we're going to try to get that out tomorrow. Right, Ruby? Nodding. Yep. Good. Okay. Good. This is good. Thank you, everybody. I think we can get this stuff done.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anything else before we adjourn for today? Nope. Not. Thank you so much.
Just one last thing, Maria. Sorry, I have to wait till the last second. But if we can just make sure that the 2050 website coincides with the Lake County agenda page, because
Yes.
this shoreline meeting was not posted at all on the 2050 website.
Okay. Yes.
Maria,
Thank you.
maybe what you might want to do is have them, if they aren't going to be updating it and you are, why don't they have a pointer to your calendar as opposed to
Yep.
having it on there?
Good thinking. Okie dokie.